Hello friends, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you'll consider subscribing to my channel if you're enjoying the instruction that I'm giving you. As you can tell by the title, today's video is going to be a little bit different. I am going to be doing 2020, a year in review. It's so crazy. I can't believe that we're already at the end of 2020. This year obviously has been different than what any of us expected. And I know a lot of people have had a really hard year. And my heart goes out to all of you if that's the case. But for me personally, this year has been transformative in the best way possible. A year ago, I would have never thought I would be putting out a YouTube video, about my year in review, so I'm gonna kind of go month by month and talk about just what I did, my challenges, my successes, and yeah. So let's start in January. The year started off as normal as possible, I guess. At the time, I was working full-time for a company, and what I basically did was go to a different school every day of the week and teach. Now, last year was my first year out of grad school. So I graduated in 2019, and then the 1920 school year was my first year full-time teaching. So I felt really, really lucky to have this job for a few reasons. It was a job, right? I was salaried, which was super, super nice for a kid just getting out of school. And I got to work mostly during the day, which I know a lot of teachers don't have that luxury. Usually lessons take place, from like 3 p.m. to like 8 or 9 p.m. even. So I felt really lucky for those two reasons. However, it was extremely draining. There was days when I would teach from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. with only a half-hour break. So you can imagine how I felt by the end of the day. I also felt like I wasn't getting the level of dedication and practice that I wanted from these students. So that was kind of frustrating in itself. The highlight of January, though, was definitely my birthday. My birthday is in January, and on my birthday, I went and got a massage for the very first time, which was so nice, and then went out to dinner at my favorite restaurant here in Chicago. It's Cafe Baba Reba, if you've ever heard of it. It's like Mexican tapas, super good, and then went out to a rooftop bar. It was really, really fun, really good birthday. And a lot of the times, my birthday's on January 20th. A lot of the times, my birthday falls on MLK Day, which it did last year, so I had the day off work. So, moving into February, everything's still the same, everything's still normal. I'm still teaching for that company, still going to work 5 days a week, actually 6 days a week, so I taught on Saturday as well. I mean, at the time, it was fine. I was happy to be, getting a paycheck, and I thought that's what, everyone does. You just go to work 5 days a week, right? So it seems like normal, which I mean, I guess it is. Then March came, and well, I guess we started hearing like some murmurings of the virus in February, but no one was really taking it seriously. And then March came, and we went on lockdown. And of course, everybody was scrambling. It was a really weird time. So at that time, I had about 75 students. And we kind of gave them the option of, having Zoom classes with me or not. Because a lot of my students at that time were like really young, like 3, 4, and a good number of the parents thought, and I mean, I totally understand that the Zoom classes really just didn't work for them. Basically, in my company, we were just trying to keep as many students on board as possible. we started doing weekly learning updates where I would send videos and written descriptions to kids, kind of trying to mimic like what we would be doing in class if it were in person. I think March, April-ish is really when I started getting more into my social media, just because I had more time. You know, I discovered all of these violin learner groups on Facebook, and really just discovered a whole community that I was never previously aware of. I started to just talk to people, and I actually started to gain a good number of online adult students. I think at my peak I had about 12, in addition to still teaching some of the kids from my full-time job. My schedule was really busy then. In April, I actually took the Suzuki Book 5 training, and that was online. It was planning to be in person, but it went online. I was grateful that we still got to take that, that I still got to take that. And it was so funny because I remember during like the training, everyone was saying like how bored they are, how they're not doing anything. And I was like, I'm literally more busy than I've ever been. What I really liked about staying home is not having to commute, right? I don't have a car, so I rely on public transportation. And so I was commuting at least 2 hours every day. So now all of a sudden I have 2 hours that I can be doing something else, like teaching or recording or posting or talking to other people, you know? So it gave me so much more time. I was still having to, you know, make those videos for my full-time job, write those text descriptions, which I had to make different ones for every single like class and learning group that I had. So it's not like it was just one video with one. No, it was like 30 videos a week for that, plus like writing the descriptions out, plus teaching. I had a really full teaching schedule because a lot of the kids were like trying out the Zoom, you know. So I remember on Mondays, like I had Suzuki training from like 8 to 11 or 11:30, and then I taught from 11:30 to 6, you know. So super busy. So that was pretty much March and April. May was pretty much more of the same. My following was growing. I was doing more YouTube, and I was just really loving doing that way more than I was loving doing the stuff for my full-time job. Because the people that I was connecting with and the students that I was getting from social media, they actually cared. They actually were practicing, you know. They weren't just doing it just because like the parents are paying for it or kind of like as an extracurricular thing, you know. So really loved that. We wrapped up the school year in June, and that's when I started to have more free time, and that's when I was trying to discover how I really wanted to propel myself forward, I guess you could say, with social media. And I had the idea of making a course for a while. I had actually bought a course bundle over this time and was taking a bunch of different courses on like how to create a course and like marketing and social media, things like that. So I was doing that at the same time. But then in June, I was kind of just thinking, okay, like I'm gonna do it. How? You know, I was just researching, I guess, platforms. I found one that I liked, and then I started creating content for my course. I spent basically all of July creating the complete bow technique manual. I made all the videos myself. I recorded, I edited them, I put them in the course platform. I wrote a bunch of text descriptions, And then I launched that at the end of July and had such an overwhelmingly amazing response, better than I could have ever dreamed. And kind of at that point, it was like, I love doing this. I'm connecting with people. I'm really making a difference. Why was I spending so much time doing stuff that I hated, that the kids probably hated? That was July, basically just filming, editing, and then launching the course. In August, I decided to, because I had a bunch of ideas for courses and kind of just decided to go with the bow techniques because it seemed like the most straightforward in my head of what I wanted to put out there. So in August, I decided to launch a vibrato course. So I launched my vibrato intensive course. So I spent the first part of August like filming and editing that. And I launched that at like the end of August. And it had a pretty good response. I created the vibrato course because vibrato is like the most requested, it's the thing that beginners and intermediate violinists want to know about the most, right? It didn't get as great of a response as the complete bow technique manual, I think, for two reasons. One, it was more expensive, and two, because I feel like it was pretty intense. It took place over the course of 3 weeks, and you basically had 3 assignments a week that you would submit to me for feedback. I thought that having like feedback would be a really like good selling point, I guess, but it was still a good course. I definitely had about 7 students enroll, so definitely not bad. I just felt like they couldn't really keep up with the course load over the course of 3 weeks. So if I were to ever run the vibrato intensive again, I would probably spread it out over at least a month, make the assignments a little bit more manageable to fit into everyday life. But I think it was, a learning experience. I'm glad I did it. And then September came, and I thought that, I created the bow techniques course. I should create a left hand techniques course. So I spent basically the month of September creating that. That actually took significantly more time than the bow techniques course. There was a lot more information in there. It literally covers everything you could ever want to know about the left hand, including vibrato, shifting, intonation, like everything. And I launched it, and it did okay. I think people were confused by the name, honestly. And I don't know what else to name it. Because, like, left hand, it's like this hand, right? They're like, oh, is that for left-handed players? Like, no. So if you have any ideas for me, definitely comment down below. I need your ideas. It's good. I'm glad I did it. And yeah, at the end of September, I decided to travel home to Houston because I hadn't seen my mom since Christmas, and it was her birthday. So I went to Houston. It was nice. I was still working, like I was still teaching, and yeah. So it wasn't like I felt like I couldn't, spend as much time with her as I wanted, but it was still nice. I'm glad I went. She had a good birthday. We went out and ate Mexican food. And then I came back. So I'm still working for that company that I mentioned that I was working full-time for. I'm just now working part-time for them. So classes started for them beginning of October. And that's when things kind of ramped up a little bit. I started, having to teach more. In the summer, I was still teaching, but it was significantly less than what it was in the school year months. And things started to pick up. I started teaching more. I started going on site for some classes, and from October to November, I've actually been filming and editing so many videos. So my plan was to create a Suzuki-based membership site. So I filmed all of these videos, like there's easily over 100 videos, of me explaining the pieces, of the skills, of playing them slowly and fast and everything like that. And now I'm kind of just like uncertain about it. I'm not feeling as passionate about it as I was. First of all, I want it to be like very aesthetic, and I feel like there's a lot of behind the scenes technical things that I need to either hire someone to do or kind of try to learn how to do myself before I launch something kind of as involved as a membership site. So I have a bunch of content filmed that I'm just not exactly sure what I'm gonna do yet. It can be kind of easy to feel like, oh, did I just waste like literally 2 months? But I think that I'll definitely use this for something. I think it will come in handy. I'm thinking about maybe making like a Suzuki Book 1 course, or making like individual, like you can just buy these pieces, or you can just buy like pre-Twinkle lessons, something like that. So if that's something you'd be interested in, or if you're interested in the Suzuki-based membership site, definitely let me know down below. I did that literally from beginning, second week maybe of October until I went home for Thanksgiving, which was like 2 weeks ago. And I went home for Thanksgiving. I was still working. I wasn't filming or editing or anything because I don't have my white background there. And I have really bad Wi-Fi there, so I can't use my laptop, so I didn't even bring it. Oh, I also bought a new laptop back like in September. So yeah, I started doing Suzuki Book 6 training in November. Be done with that in December. Went home for Thanksgiving, was still working. I got to have like, I think 4 days off, which was really, really nice. I had a really nice Thanksgiving. We watched the parade, we watched the dog show, we took a walk around the neighborhood, beautiful Texas weather, and we ate, drank, played Monopoly. So it was really fun. Put up our Christmas tree. And yeah, and then I flew back here to Chicago. I only have 2 full weeks here before I go back to Houston for Christmas. So I feel like I can't really do too much in terms of my courses because I'm having to pre-film a bunch of content. I'm having to pre-film like 3 weeks of content. So that's what I've been doing. Last week I had to, I had to go get my physical. I had to go get fingerprinted, just do a bunch of random things. I've also started a new job as like a sectional coach for an orchestra. It's online. That's taking up a little bit more of my time. So my teaching is kind of snowballing, which is great. But it also at the same time leaves me less time to do my courses. I have a good balance right now though, I feel like. So these 2 weeks I've really just been creating content and editing. And so I won't have to do any of that when I go home. And my plan is really just to try to relax. I feel like I haven't relaxed in so long, which is not to complain because I feel like I do get bored easily. And I really do love what I'm doing now. I'm so passionate about everything, every single one of my students. And just everything that I'm putting out there and everything that I'm spending my time doing, that it's not like a work, it's not like a chore, like I enjoy doing it. But I do just want to rest and just enjoy Christmas. So I will be teaching probably still a bit, significantly less, and I'm not gonna try to work on any courses or anything like that while I'm home, but you bet that I am going to think about my goals for next year and set a plan going forward and be back full force in January. So that is a year in review. I pretty much stay home all the time now. I go teach in person 1 day a week. I do all my teaching from home. I have time to practice. I have time to put into projects that I actually want to do. So I'm here to tell you that it is possible. It is possible to cultivate a life that you truly love and that you're proud of and do things that you are passionate about. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, of course, but I feel like I've taken a huge leap in the right direction, and we're just going to keep going from here. So I hope you had a good 2020. I hope that you overcame any challenges that were put in your way. And thank you so much for coming along this journey with me. And I will see you in 2021.